Hello everyone, No Consequence here with a new video to talk about my plans for the channel in 2026. I've seen several other Dungeons & Dragons related channels do this over the last couple of days, so I figured I would too. So in the past, I've divided my videos into various different categories. First is my campaign playthrough series, which I consider to be the foundation of my channel. Then there is my Dungeon Master Advice series. An interesting note about this particular video, even though it was uploaded almost 2 years ago, it still gets several views on a daily basis. Then there is my Game Collection Showcase series, in which I highlight a rare item from my Dungeons & Dragons collection. I haven't done one of these videos for quite a while though. Next is what I call my Give the People What They Want series, under which I classify any video which deals with Dungeons & Dragons related controversy, or is otherwise just a rant. Next is just a generic other category, like this video, responding to viewer comments. And I occasionally do videos about RPG-related news, like this recent one regarding the Gygax Memorial Kickstarter. And finally, I sometimes do RPG product reviews, like this one, the Hellfire Club Starter Set. So, what will I be doing in 2026? Well, I will continue to release episodes of my remastered campaign playthrough series. I've always been unhappy with the earliest videos in this series because I was still new to YouTube at the time and I didn't really know what I was doing. And as a result, I felt like I wasn't giving the series the treatment it deserved. So in 2026, I will continue to work on correcting that. I also have the screenshots from a roughly year-long campaign during which I DM'd another group through this adventure module, B2, Keep on the Borderlands. I've been promising to tell their story for over a year now, but in 2026 I plan to finally get started on it. And I intend for this to be the next episode of my Dungeon Master's Advice series, Module D3, Vault of the Drow. I don't usually make videos offering generic DM advice unless I find a compelling reason to do so. I generally prefer to stick with offering specific advice on adventure modules which I have DM'd. But I have a feeling that this will be a popular video when I finally do record it. It goes without saying that I will continue to release episodes of my Give the People What They Want series. These are by far the most popular videos on my channel. But to be clear, I never do these types of videos just for the purpose of clickbait or rage bait. It has to be a topic that I feel very strongly about before I will do a video on it.
You know what really grinds my gears?
What really grinds my gears is when I come across videos, articles, or tweets which try to disparage early editions of the Dungeons & Dragons game, as well as its creators. Usually their target is Gary Gygax himself. These attempts are often poorly researched, lazily written or produced, and disingenuous at best. They are typically an obvious attempt to pander to what is perceived to be the, quote, modern gaming audience. And besides, it's easy to punch down on gaming products which are 40 or even 50 years old, as well as the people who created them. Because more often than not, they are old white guys who are now dead and thus can no longer defend themselves. So yes, whenever I see that sort of thing, I will push back against it. It also grinds my gears when I see videos like this, where you have people trying to tell everyone what playing the Dungeons & Dragons game was like 20 years before they were even born. So yeah, if I come across stuff like this in 2026, then I'm going to respond to it. Next is my generic other categories. RPG-related news I will continue to make videos about, but it has to be some aspect of the hobby that I actually care about. For example, if it's a new 5th edition supplement, then I won't have anything to say about it, because I do not play 5th edition. However, a rumor like this one, which discusses a possible new AD&D base 6th edition, I will definitely talk about that. I will also continue to do RPG product reviews, but again, it must be something that I will actually purchase and use. For example, my wife got me these books for Christmas. I've been nostalgic to reread the original Dragonlance trilogy for quite some time, and now I don't have to dig out my old tattered original copies to do it. And as for the Stranger Things book, it looks like it will be a great resource to mine for ideas. At any rate, I will certainly be doing review videos on these two products at some point soon. Something I've mentioned in the past is doing live stream chats. My only worry is that I would quickly run out of things to talk about. And if you don't have many viewers, or if they're not very engaged in the chat, it could get boring fast. I think the best live streams have co-hosts, which allow them to riff off each other when not interacting with the chat. Anyway, it's something I'm still keeping in the back of my mind. Now, a possible variation of live streaming is to broadcast the playing through of a vintage computer role-playing game. That gives you something to talk about and interact with if the chat is slow. I've seen other people do this, and the model seems to work. Admittedly, it's usually not a very huge draw, but it does bring in some viewers. One thing I've noticed is that the people who do live stream vintage computer game playthroughs frequently choose one of the AD&D Gold Box games. There's nothing wrong with that. Those games were wildly successful back in the day, and I played most of them myself when they were first released. However, if I were to go this route, then I would probably choose something other than the Gold Box games. A good alternative would be the Ultima series of games, which were also incredibly popular. But there are also other less well-known titles I can think of, which I played back in those days, and they were a lot of fun too. So I might choose one of those instead, if I were to do this thing. Shifting gears, I want to return for a moment to that previously referenced video, one where Eric Tenkar discusses rumors of a possible 6th edition Dungeons & Dragons, which could be a hybrid of AD&D and 5th edition D&D. I imagine that by now most of you have seen this video, but if you have not, be sure to check it out. Dungeons & Discourse recently released a video in which she largely discounts the rumor. She says she searched all over the internet and her Google foo failed to turn up any evidence. However, Tenkar did say that his information came from inside sources. So it stands to reason that Dungeons & Discourse would not necessarily find anything about it online. And besides, as the great astronomer Carl Sagan once wrote, absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Now, on a somewhat related topic. First, I want to remind everyone that although my campaign replay series uses advanced Dungeons & Dragons adventure modules, I am actually using the basic expert rule set published in 1981. Having established that, I now want to reference Tenkar's own plans for 2026 video. As always, I don't want to steal his thunder, so go watch his video if you have not yet seen it. However, I do want to replay one brief clip from his video.
I'm hearing rumors and chatter about BX. I can't discuss it because I don't have enough sources that are different enough to verify it, but if it's true, I am extremely excited.
Now, historically, Tenkar has always been a big swords and wizardry fan. He even created a rules light version of the game, pictured here on the left. I've highlighted at the bottom his name credit for the work. He has also promoted swords and wizardry on his YouTube channel for years now. But over the past few months, Tenkar has released lots of videos promoting various aspects of BX gameplay. These are the thumbnails of just his videos which actually mention BX in the title. But there are plenty of similar recent videos on his channel as well. So, even though Tenkar was rather vague and hesitant in his video, I wonder if privately he is more confident that something to do with BX is coming soon.
Hey, the Dukes are trying to corner the market.
They know something. I can feel it.
Let's get in on it.
So, after all these years since it was first released, what could a new development regarding the basic expert rule set actually be? Well, we can find a possible clue in the expert rulebook. Highlighted here, it says, each class obtains certain benefits at higher levels. The DM must decide whether to use these suggested abilities or wait until the D&D Companion supplement is released, which will detail levels up to 36 in more detail. Then down at the bottom it says, it is more important to note that these are only suggestions. Those players and DMs who wish to wait for the D&D Companion supplement will be provided with exact information concerning these higher levels. Unfortunately, this promised BX Companion supplement was never published. Instead, in 1983, TSR released the Menser Basic D&D box set. In that same year, they also released the Menser Expert box set. In 84 came the Companion box set. In 85, the Master set. And finally, in 1986, they released the Immortals box set. And then, 5 years later, it was all compiled into a single hardback book, the D&D Rules Cyclopedia. Meanwhile, the BX Companion, which had been promised 10 years earlier, was long forgotten about. Now, over the decades, there have been a few third-party efforts at releasing their own version of a BX Companion. This is just one example. But you can see highlighted on the lower right-hand page, this work is completely fan-made and has no official association with the D&D game or Wizards of the Coast. So now let's go back and look at the expert rule book again, specifically the credits block. I promise I'm going somewhere with this. Let's enhance the credit block, and you can see where I've highlighted here the editor names. It says Dave Cook with Steve Marsh. Now, fast forward to today, and you can find on Facebook a BXD&D fan group. And one of the admins for that group is Stephen R. Marsh. Yes, the same Steve Marsh who helped edit the expert rulebook. A few years ago, Mr. Marsh was encouraged on here to write his own version of the long-forgotten BX Companion. After all, other people had done it. But his product would carry the added authority that comes with him having been involved with creating the original BX rule set. Mr. March was receptive to the idea, and he was encouraged by the enthusiasm people expressed for the project. But then the WotC OGL scandal broke, followed by the uproar that came with it. And as a result, Mr. Marsh backed away from the BX Companion project. And who could blame him? During the weeks immediately following the OGL scandal, every creator was uncertain of what they could or could not do regarding D&D related products. However, things eventually calmed down again, and Mr. Marsh decided that it was safe to proceed with the BX Companion project. To facilitate the work, this new Facebook group was created, the Marsh Companion Project. And as you can see, Stephen Marsh is an admin for this group as well. They soon made available for download this very rough draft of the proposed BX Companion book. In case you're wondering, SRM stands for Stephen R. Marsh. At the time, I was encouraged by the rapid pace at which the project seemed to be moving along. However, that rough draft was uploaded in February of 2023, almost 3 years ago, and there have been no updated drafts since then. The project is definitely not dead. New examples of artwork intended for the BX Companion are being uploaded on a regular basis. And just this past November, this entire sample page was uploaded. As you can see, it describes updates to thief skills, and it includes a great new illustration. So again, the March Companion project is definitely not dead. But now I'm beginning to wonder if there is some connection between Tenkar's cryptic mention of BX in his video and this ongoing Marsh BX Companion project. Could it be that WotC got wind of the Companion project and is now working with Stephen Marsh to make it an official D&D product? Could it be that after 45 years, we are finally going to see the long-promised BX Companion rulebook as an official Dungeons & Dragons product release? Now, I realize I'm doing a lot of speculation here, and some might regard it as a pretty big stretch. But it must be admitted that something new seems to be coming in the BX world. Only time will tell what exactly it is. All I want to say is, if WotC does in fact come out with some new BX product in 2026, and I start creating videos about it, just know that it isn't me simply chasing the new shiny thing. Remember, my Roll20 campaign launched all the way back in 2014, almost 12 years ago now, and I was already using BX as my go-to game system. And I've stood behind it ever since, resisting all the BX clones and other OSR game systems that have come out since then. So if I begin making videos about a new BX product from WotC, that will only be me staying true to my roots.
I was into these dudes before anybody.
Alright, well that's for now. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. If you can, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you have not yet, please subscribe to the channel. If you know of a good place, please share the video. And anything you can help support the channel, I appreciate it. Thanks again. Bye for now.